This is Mrs. Esther Katende Magezi. She's a lawyer by profession. Right now, she's taking very serious studies with children, education, and critical thinking skills at the PhD level. So welcome, Esther.
Thank you very much, Julia. I'm very happy to be here today and to speak to the young guys and ladies today on professional growth, on career guidance, and what you asked me to talk to you about career guidance. What profession should you choose? What career should you choose? And that's really what I'm going to do, because there are things that as you're preparing for your future, you must lay the foundation now. So that's what really I want to talk about briefly. Now, one of the things that is very critical when you're choosing a career, you must think about what is your passion. Passion is the underlying thing that gives success. I want you to distinguish between a profession and an area of interest. For example, you find that there are people who say, I did medicine because my father forced me. But their real passion is in interior decorating. So the best thing for you to do is to pursue your passion, to go for interior decor. The career or the profession will give you money, yes, but the passion will make you live a wealthier life. Now, the Bible says in Psalm 37 verse 4 that the Lord gives us the desires of our hearts. Your passion is really the desire of your heart. And remember, when you're going to be working, you're going to work for 70 years, 80 years. Basically, whatever career you're choosing is going to be your career for the rest of your life. For as long as you exist, it's something that you're going to do every day. You wake up every day of the week, you wake up and go and do that thing. So make sure it is something that you have a passion in. When you have a passion in something, you're able to go against any kind of odds. You're able to overcome all odds against you because you have a passion, a burning desire in you. And most times our passions are what we were really created by God to do. So it is important to ask God to go back to the author and the creator of your life. What is it that I am meant to be? It's interesting, when I was in high school in Gayaza with Julia, they asked us to ask God. It was during a Christian service, and they asked us, guys, ask God what your calling is. What is your gifting? What is your calling? So at that time, I asked God and told me my gifting is teaching. I was very sad. I said, hey, God, how can you make me a teacher? At that time, I saw teachers were quite poor. There was nothing inspiring about teaching. So I was so unhappy. And anyway, as I grew up, I decided to become a lawyer. I pursued law. I went for a law degree, master's degree, undergraduate degree. And as the years went on, I realized I'm a gifted teacher, that I learn things and I'm able to explain them to other people very easily. And I always want to pour myself into values and into teaching people. Probably that's why I'm even speaking to you today, because I enjoy pouring my life into younger people, which are aspects of teaching actually. So I ended up doing a law degree, becoming a lawyer, but guess what? I'm a lawyer who does a lot of teaching. I'm a law lecturer. So even as I thought, yes, I'll be going to courtrooms and all that, by the time I started court work, it was so boring for me. I ended up becoming a teacher in law. So I'm a law lecturer. I lecture in law at MUBS, Makerere University. I lecture at an institution in Arusha called Trapka. And usually people call me for talks to teach people about different aspects of law. And now different aspects of for teenagers and career guidance, all that is teaching. But it's because that is my gifting and that is my passion. But I didn't do education. Now, the interesting part is when it came to PhD, because I'm doing my PhD, I'm about to finish. I wanted to do a PhD in education because I wanted to understand better how to teach people better. So I ended up going back to the very first thing that the Lord taught me when I was younger, that my gifting was teaching. I'm a gifted teacher. So my passion is to teach people things. Whatever it is, I teach the law, I teach you guys career guidance, I teach people on how to parent children. Basically, any topic, I'm very gifted at teaching it. I'm good at explaining the principles easily so people understand them. But that is something that God taught me when I was very young and I didn't understand it. So I wanted to emphasize that let us go back to the person who made us, our creator. Because you know, when you get a new machine, for example, you always have to go back to the manual of that machine. how does this machine run? If you imagine you got an excavator at home and you want to see how does this machine work, you go through the manual, you read what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, how do you connect it. So even as in our lives, we have a manual and we have a creator who created that, and he has the manual for each of our lives. Remember, each of us is put here for a purpose. We all have a purpose. We're all very important and very relevant, and we have a purpose to fill on this earth. And we're going to go back to our creator to account for how we used our time on this earth. So that is why it is important for you to go back to the creator and ask him, why was I created? What is my role on this earth? What is my gifting? Now, when you find out your gifting, that is going to help you shape your future career. It's going to help you understand why your passion is so. It's going to answer the scripture that says that the Lord gives us the desires of our hearts, because it is that passion, it is that desire which the Lord created in you for you to fulfill your place on this earth, for you to achieve your purpose on this earth. So it is very important to remember that you must discover what is your passion. You have to find out what are the things you love doing. And how do you find out your passion? Imagine you are sleeping, you're in your bed sleeping, and then someone asks you something. What is that thing that you answer for, or you answer or give information on without even thinking or opening your eyelids to read the word? What is that thing that makes you wake up and feel that when I'm doing this thing, I'm so alive, I'm so happy, I feel that, yeah, I am tick. That is your passion. So each one of you, I want you to investigate in your heart, in your quiet moment, and investigate and ask yourself, what is it that I like to do? What is that thing that I'll do for free, even if they never ever pay me? Maybe it is, like I said, you love event decorating, you're a decorator, parties and what. And that's something you love with all your heart, that even if they never ever paid you in this world, you do it for free. That is your passion. Maybe your passion is treating people, as a doctor, and you like it when you see someone who's sick getting well. You're interested in those things. And even if they never ever paid you, that's something you do for free forever. That is your passion. And that should guide you on the career you should take. So do not waste your time and your youthful years doing things that you don't have a passion in. Because yes, they'll give you money and they'll probably make you rich for a few years, but a few years down the road, you're going to divert and you end up going in another field. I have a friend who did, veterinary services at university and all that, but his passion was doing compounds. He loved compound work, designing compounds. 10 years down the road, he's in compound business. So all those vet studies and all that was just a waste of time. Because so many of us want to do those courses that we think this is it. I have to be a doctor, I have to be a lawyer. But guess what? At the end of that day, you have to fulfill your calling on this earth. The thing I want to talk about is sowing in 7 different directions. It is important that even as you start looking at your career, your growth, and what passion you have, you try to do as many things as possible. Do not grow up with a mindset that I should only be a lawyer and wake up and that is it. No. You must, because the Bible talks about sowing in 7 different directions in Ecclesiastes 11. Because you don't know when the wind will come. 11:6, Ecclesiastes 11:6. You don't know where the wind will come from. You don't know what will yield fruit and what will not yield fruit. It talks about work during the day, work during the evening. In other words, keep working and try as many things as possible. Do not lock yourself in from the very beginning or throughout your life that I should only do this. For example, for me, I'm a law lecturer, but at the same time, I'm a farmer. At the same time, I love doing talks on parenting, so I earn money on that. At the same time, I run a real estate business. At the same time, basically, you must look for ways of earning income, 7 different ways of earning income. When we were much younger, we used to call it okulembeka. Imagine you have a basin and you kulembeka, like you're tapping water wherever you go. So try to do as many jobs as possible. Try to expose yourself to as many things as possible, because it is important that you make money from different areas. Because today, for example, now COVID was happening. I was not making money as a lecturer because the universities were probably closed. But guess what? I was making money in the other areas of my life as a farmer, in real estate. So you never have a drought period in your life. As you start your pursuit of career and what you want to be as you grow, do different businesses. Do baking and sell things. Sell other items, you know, buy things from one place and sell them in another place. It is important that you don't restrict yourself to only one profession, because if that profession closes, there goes your life. Because we all don't know what the future holds. There are some professions that are relevant now, but might not be relevant in the next 5 to 10 years. Accounting, for example, people are doing their own accounts. There are so many accounting tools online. I wish you would Google up, since you're still young and have time. Please go and Google the careers that are going to be irrelevant in the future. Because they talk about things like, for example, drivers. You know, people who are drivers in the future, they are creating now cars that don't need drivers. So that means drivers will lose out. Even lawyers, there are some professions in the law field that are going to die, because now if you want to do a contract, for example, you're going to find that contract easily online. So meaning you'll not go to look for a lawyer to pay a lawyer a lot of money when you can do it yourself. So look for those fields, go and Google up fields that are going to be out of relevance in the next 5, 10 years, and make sure you don't waste your time learning those fields, because they are going to be irrelevant in the future. That is why it is important to do businesses. You do several different things as a career. You sow in 7 different directions. Like I've said, you can do baking, you can do selling things, you can do teaching, there are so many things you can do at the same time. Just apportion your day every day and you do a little bit of this and that. So to try to get money from different areas, that is what builds wealth. Don't think that you're just going to be one thing. I'm a doctor in one hospital and that will help you build wealth and career. No. You'd rather be a doctor in 5 different hospitals, because that means if hospital 1 is broke, hospital 2 will be able to pay some money, hospital 3 will be owing you, and you'll keep having money and wealth all the time throughout your life. So don't forget that. Now I want to talk about a day in the life of a lawyer, because some of you want to be lawyers. I was told some of you want to be lawyers. Like myself, when I was much younger, from as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a lawyer. Even when I was in Gaza High School, I always wanted to be a lawyer. But when I grew up, I realized that the law field has so many different fields. So you can be a lawyer who goes to court. You can be a lawyer who just teaches the law. You can be a lawyer who does transactions. You know, someone wants to buy something, you want to help them, you can do that. You can be a lawyer who deals with only crimes and criminal matters. There's this person who's arrested, you're involved. Basically, about 30 different or more different types of laws. So if you want to be a typical day in the life of a lawyer depends on what field it is you decide to specialize in. For example, me, I specialize in international trade law. It's a very specialized area, but I mainly focus on teaching people how countries trade, how countries should work together to make trade happen. And I never ever go to court. I do a lot of research, a lot of analysis, a lot of trainings, but that is my field as a lawyer and pays very well for it. Then there are other lawyers, like my husband is also a lawyer. For him, he does transactional law. You know, there's this person who needs this money. They have this deal. He brings them together. They make business work. Or there's this contract that needs to be achieved. How do they make it happen? There are different types of law. And the life in the day of a lawyer depends on what type of law you have chosen. Just like the different branches of medicine. You could choose to be a medical doctor who's just a gynecologist. You know, you deal with pregnant women. Or you could choose to be a pediatrician, you only deal with children. Or you could choose to be a surgeon, for you only operate. Even as you operate, you could choose to be only a children's surgeon, or you could be a surgeon for bones. Like every area of profession has different fields in it. So even as you say, I want to be a doctor, eventually you're going to decide, is it a dentist? Is it a surgeon? Is it a brain surgeon? Or it's only, bone surgeon? So as you choose your careers, you have to choose, even if you're doing this field, IT, are you going to be a person who does coding? Or are you going to be a person who does animation? Or are you going to be a person who does filming? I mean, there are so many different fields in every field of endeavor, of human endeavor. Just like music, you could say, I'm going to be a musician. You could say, I'm going to be a producer. You could say, no, I'm going to be a voice trainer, or an instrumentalist. So even as you decide to zone in on what field of career you want to choose, you have to know which specific area. And so many times you get questions like, what if I decide to be a doctor and I get there and I don't like it? That is okay. Change. You always have an opportunity to change. You reset your life. Because remember, you're going to be on this earth for the next 80 years. So you must be doing something that you're really interested in and something that is working for you. So if you realize 10 years down the road that your career that you've chosen did not work, at least that is one piece of knowledge you have, that that thing doesn't work for me. Just like when you're trying different businesses. As you see me here, I've done so many businesses that are unbelievable. But along the way, I've dropped so many of them because they just don't work for me as me. But yet those businesses are working for other people. So my point is that even as you're growing, try so many things and learn so many different businesses so that at the end of that day, you get better. Excuse me. Now, people in your generation, we call you the X generation. The biggest challenge you're facing is many children don't want to work. Even as you decide what career do I want to do, remember you have to be interested in working and working very hard. The challenge your generation has is most of you think things just happen just like that. I start a business, it takes off, I make a lot of money. And you forget that people have 5, 10, 8 years of investment in that business. So I want to encourage you to have a spirit of working hard. And anything gives you money. As long as it puts food on your table, it is worth doing. Choose to desire to work hard. Choose to desire to give it your best, to be excellent at whatever you're doing. Because it's a spirit of excellence that brings more work. When people say that, oh, we gave Esther this work and she did it very well, and they want you to do the same work for someone else. So usually it is word of mouth that explains people about you. It's the work that you do that markets you and promotes you. People are like, I had Esther talk the other time. I know if she talks this time, it will still be a good job. So the kind of work you do, that diligence in working, is what will explain you to the rest of the world. Remember, the Bible says that the Lord blesses the works of our hands. So you have to be working. You have to be doing something. And I want to encourage you to start working even now at your age, as teenagers, as young youth, Start working even if you're still in vacation. Start doing those small things because it gives you the experience you need. It takes you 10 years ahead of your peers. When your friends finish campus and they're like, okay, now let's start working. For you already have all the experience you need because you gained it while you are still in vacation. So do that, those small things. Go buy things somewhere, sell them. Go teach younger children how to do math. Go teach them how to pass English. Small things that you can do. Get a store and start selling things. If you have a relative who owns a shop, go and start working there. Employ yourself now because you're going to learn so many things along the way. The foreigners call it apprenticeship. You do some work now while you're still being corrected and monitored, because in the next 10 years, you'll be able to run your own businesses on things that you learned right now. Do the baking. After you do the baking, you learn the recipes, go and sell. So that you learn about marketing. So that you learn about customer care. So that you learn about quality maintenance and excellence. Now, those small skills are going to come in very handy when you eventually start working, when you finish school. And there are subtle things you learn along the way. How do you talk to people? How do you persuade people? How do you speak in public? All those are things you're going to learn as you start working now when you don't have a full-time job. I'm now ready to listen to any questions so that I address specific questions that you want me to talk about concerning career guidance. So I hand over to you, Julia.